Let's crack on, shall we?
Alright guys, hope you're all well. Off to a rocky start with this series of video really, aren't we? Third video into the series and already missed 2 weeks. It's pretty bad. To be fair, life gets in the way. Reason I missed the first week was funeral to attend, second week working all weekend. So this is my first 2 days off after like a 13-day stretch of working. So yeah, well deserved weekend if you ask me. I'm drinking wine today, so excuse me for offending all Lister lovers out there. I don't drink wine often actually, but you know what, it's making a nice change at the moment, I've got to say. I also drank it last night as well, where I intended to record this video, but this happened. That's right, consistent laughing fits. So, perhaps not the wisest decision to be drinking it again tonight. So let's jump straight into it with what I've been playing over the last 2-3 weeks maybe, however long it's been. Kind of hard to talk about this time actually, because I've got a pickups video impending and I don't really want to talk about my pickups games before I've showed them off as pickups. So, I'm just going to sort of ignore those for the moment. What I will say is I'll give you a little sneak peek. I have been playing a game. You probably heard a little bit of it then. I've been playing a game on the 3DS that I picked up. I won't tell you what it is, but some of you might be able to guess from that picture. It's a crazy platformer. I'm fucking loving it. That's all I'm saying about that one. There are like 3 or 4 other games I've been playing. I don't know if you can see them behind me, probably. I can't be able to hide them, to be honest. I'll just spend the entire video with my arm up here, shall I? Yeah, I don't want to talk about those for obvious reasons, but I have been playing a few games, really simple games this time actually. I've not really been playing anything too serious. But the first game I've been spending quite a bit of time on again is Power Stone on the Dreamcast. I really do adore this series. I don't own Power Stone 2, and I've not really spent a lot of time on that one either, but Power Stone 1 I've spent many an hour on. For those of you who don't know, it's just a beat 'em up but in 3D environment. It is really simple, and you can interact with the environment. You pick up barrels, fucking lamp posts, anything that you're nearby. It's got sort of a power-up basis going on. It's really good. Great roster of characters, great fun, really easy to sit back and just smash the shit out of some stuff. I wish they'd revisit this series. My case is smashed in. I've really got to replace the cover on this. But yeah, really good game. It's Capcom, it's bound to be a good game. The only game I know that's come close to this, there may be others, but the only game that I know that's come close to this is Anarchy Reigns. Yeah, fantastic. Been having a lot of fun on Power Stone. Please make more, Capcom. Second game I started playing last night actually. First time I've played it in years. First time I played it properly in, well, even longer than that. I'm coming up to 10 years I would have thought. And that's, is it called? Yeah, Wario World on the Nintendo GameCube, which is a really good game. One of, well, the only good Wario game made in my opinion. I've not played many of the Game Boy DS ones though, so my opinion's fairly limited. But yeah, far beats the WarioWare titles. Really great, 3D platformer. You go around smashing the crap out of dinosaurs mainly in the levels that I'm in. I think you eventually go to like a horror themed level. Got those notifications doing my head in. I don't know if you can hear them, but fucking hell they're distracting. Yeah, it's just really fun. It just makes a great change of pace for this does for me. It's like a more violent Mario, and I've always thought that Wario was the most charismatic out of all the Mario brothers. Right, and lastly, for games I've been playing over the last couple of weeks, usually be last week, but yeah, with break and all that, last couple of weeks, last week the games I can talk about, like I said, pickups can't fucking talk about them, which makes this section of this video really short unfortunately, but there will be a pickups video coming soon. I've been waiting for a package for a couple of weeks now, and it came the other day, and I plan on getting a pickups video up next week. Anyway, fucking missing the point here. What was I saying? Yeah, lastly, for games I've been playing over the last couple of weeks is Metal Slug 3 on the original Xbox. I'm sure I can get it into frames somewhere. yeah, absolutely fucking adore this game, and I've been binging on this quite a lot this year, to be honest, if you hadn't noticed via my new channel intro. Really, really fun to sit back and just kill shit. I think that's the reason I give for all of these games, really. But yeah, it's really, really good. It looks fantastic as well, and it has one of the best soundtracks any game has ever had out there as well. It really, really gets you into it really well. Really. That's all I'm going to say this video. Yeah, I've been playing the original Xbox version because it's the only physical copy I own, which is a great version. I've also got it on Xbox Live Arcade, which I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know if it's the frame rate or what. It just feels really slow. It doesn't quite hit the spot for me. The best version that I've played for it, never played a Neo Geo by the way, so this is why it's probably the best version, but it's actually the Steam version. That version plays so fucking smoothly. So yeah, been having a lot of fun on Metal Slug 3. I really need to get hold of some of the other Metal Slug titles, because this is really the only one I've played properly. I think I've dabbled in 4 a little bit. I'm sure there's another couple on the either on the DS or the Game Boy that I've played a bit, but this is the only one I've played through numerous times and really enjoyed, and I'm sure I'll love the other ones. I really liked the, oh man, what was it called? Blast Corps? Not Blast Corps, it's an N64 game, isn't it? Hard Corps, the 360 arcade title, might have been a DS game as well, they usually are, from the makers of Metal Slug. What was that Contra? I don't know, I'm going well off track. Oh right, that was a good game. Irrelevant. So that's it for games that I've played over the last couple of weeks that I can really talk about. It leads us straight onto music I've been listening over to the last couple of weeks, which is a fair bit, but I'm going to narrow it down just to a couple of albums because I've been music binging to hell these last couple of weeks, as you'll probably see with my upcoming videos as well, because guitar videos will be plentiful soon, I can promise you that. Right, for this first album I've been binging on this week is a Dream Theater album. As you may or may have not noticed, I'm a huge Dream Theater fan. Most of my guitar videos have been Dream Theater orientated. Fantastic band, best musicians in the world, hands down. Every album is different musically in one way or another, and the album that I've been binging on is actually I'd say it's the least favourite amongst fans, but to me it's the first of their album that I had and I always go back to it. It's really chilled out, somewhat poppy in places, it's got influences from all over the place actually. It's really hard to narrow down. It is a little bit poppy in places, it's just really, really mellow, upbeat in places, but really, really great. And that is Falling Into Infinity by Dream Theater, obviously. Cracking album. Fucking strange artwork, even by them. I have been listening to all their other albums. I do this from time to time. I just sort of listen to nothing other than Dream Theater, which is sort of bad. But I've been listening to a track consistently on here called Lines in the Sand. It's an absolutely fantastic piece of music. I did try and record the guitar solo, but I learnt it years ago and I just can't be bothered to spend a lot of time perfecting it again. So here's the second half of the solo. when played badly, that brings the hairs on your back of your neck up. If you've not heard Dream Theater before and you're into mellower music, this is definitely a good place to start. Second album I've been listening to a lot of this week is Ziltoid 2 by the one and only Devin Townsend. When I say Ziltoid 2, I mean Disc 2 Dark Matters, because this is actually a double album, which is album 1 is Sky Blue and album 2 is Dark Matters. So Disc 1 is Devin Townsend project, Disc 2 is Ziltoid. If you're not a Devin Townsend fan, you've probably got no idea what I'm talking about. He's very much over the top progressive metal. It is really, really heavy, probably not for the faint of heart if you've not dabbled in the world of metal before. It's not death metal by any standards, it's not black metal, it's just over the top silliness, to be honest. Ziltoid is a creation of his, he's a puppet, he's an alien invader, he comes to Earth to find the universe's ultimate cup of coffee. That's the story to Ziltoid 1. Ziltoid 2 is just following on from that. Really, really, really silly album. I only listened to this once. No, I listened to it twice the day I bought this and sort of put it down. I didn't think too much to it. I really did like it, but I just weren't in the mood for it at the time. I've gone back this last week and listened to it about 4 or 5 times, and it is really, really funny. My favourite track off there is, I think it's called March of the Poozers. If you don't know what a poozer is, because chances are you don't, it's one of these little fellas there. Yeah. That's just give you an idea of how ridiculous this album is. I really enjoy the end riff to that track as well. Get ready for some silliness here from me as well, which I apologise for profusely. Embarrassing myself. Now, before I go on to stuff I've been watching this week, I just want to talk to you about a disgusting problem that I had with Tesco's about 2-3 weeks ago now. It was unpleasant, and I'm sorry for the photos. Hopefully you're not eating your dinner, but this was around Easter time. Looking in the reduced section, as most of us do, there was an Easter cake there which was on its sell-by date. So, which should have been fine to eat that day. Purchased it for about £3. Money's not an issue, it's not the problem, it's not the point I'm getting at. We got it home, cut into the cake, halfway down the middle, halfway again, into quarters. I'm a fat fuck, have a quarter of a cake at a time. This is my missus cutting it, by the way. She cuts it, places quarter of the cake into the bowl, slices it down. We haven't looked inside the cake at all. We start eating it. I'm in here, she's in the living room, and all of a sudden I hear, oh, has this got jelly sweets in it? It didn't, it just had eggs in it. And by eggs I mean chocolate eggs. It was a chocolate cake, chocolate eggs in it. I'm like, no, it doesn't have jelly sweets in it, I don't know what you're on about. And she says it tastes funny, and she goes and inspects the cake, and it is absolutely riddled with mould. Scrapes the entire buttercream layer off this cake, and it is just completely green, as you can probably see by the photos. That's the piece that she was eating. I ate about half of mine, which isn't great. I didn't notice. Yeah, not very nice at all. So I got in touch with Tesco's and showed them the photos, and all they had to say was, we're very sorry for the experience. Can you please give us details of the store where you bought it from? So I did that, and I also mentioned that it made us both violently ill. Didn't make me so sick, but made the other half feel not too good. I was very professional about the whole situation. Sent them a long, in-depth email explaining that I wasn't angry at the customer service advisor. I was just disgusted with the situation, and that the situation shouldn't have arisen. That amount of mould shouldn't have appeared over a matter of hours, whether the cake's on the date or not. That's like weeks worth of mould there. It should not be happening. That's a problem with the manufacturing process. The packaging was unscathed when I bought it, so they couldn't blame it on air getting to it or anything like that. There is something wrong with the manufacturing process. It's fucking disgraceful, and they need to sort it out. They said that they were looking into it. Anyway, I'm going off on one a bit. After telling them that it made us both ill, they said, can you please get us some information off the box? which I did. Got them the information off the box, and then they said they can reimburse me for the value of the item. I obviously said this is unacceptable, and they said they take health complaints very seriously, and that if I wanted to pursue it any further, I would have to take the cake and its packaging 3 to 4 days after the event to the store I bought it and get a customer complaint form. Who the fuck keeps a mouldy cake laying around the flat 3 days after it's happened, a day after it's happened, a few hours after it's happened? Packaging I can sort of understand. I didn't keep hold of the packaging because it's 3 to 4 days after. You put it in the bin gets taken out, you never fucking see it again. Impossible to do. They said alternatively they could offer me £5, which would put me £2 in pocket, but yeah, not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Pretty disgusted with the way that Tesco dealt with that, to be honest. They can stick the £5 up their fucking ass as far as I care. Something somewhat unrelated again. Bought a Now TV box about 2 to 3 weeks ago now. £21 and you get a 3-month subscription to Now TV, which is great for me because I don't own Sky, and 3 months of a year for the last 3 years now I've always done a subscription to Sky just so I can watch Game of Thrones. So this box is £21, the subscription is about £7 a month. I get the box for nothing essentially as far as I'm concerned. And buying this, they also give you a month free movie subscription as well. So fucking quid's in. It does mean that I've got to binge to hell on films for a month to get the most out of the value for this. Which leads me on to stuff that I've watched this week, or the last 2 weeks. This stuff just goes to your fucking head so quickly. Mind you, I have been drinking fucking Jim Beam casually since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's now 11:30. Right, so I'll dive in with some TV series that I've been binging on with Now TV from the get-go. The first being a TV series called Moon Boy, which is a Chris O'Dowd creation. If you don't know who Chris O'Dowd is, he's the curly-haired Irish chap from the IT crowd. Chances are you can put a name to the face there. It's a comedy, really easy to watch programme set in the 90s in Ireland, in a little place called Boyle. I don't know if this is fictional or not. I heard somewhere that this is supposed to be autobiographical, biographical? That word, blame the wine, of his childhood, but I don't know how true that is. A while ago I read that. 3 seasons on there. 3 seasons on there. I've watched 1 already, so I've binged on season 2 and season 3. Really easy watching. It's just about this family centred around the boy of the family and his imaginary friend, who is Chris O'Dowd. The family get themselves into stupid situations, and Chris O'Dowd just happens to be there and has 0 impact on the story. It's quite ridiculous, but really easy to watch. 1 episode actually is based around the Sega Mega Drive, and you get to see one of the original Sega Mega Drive adverts in it as well. That gave me an immense happy.
A scientist creates the ultimate machine.
At last!
A machine that will give him the power to journey into the Mega World. With thousands of colors, 16-bit graphic technology, and 10-channel Mega Stereo sound. The most advanced video game system in the universe.
Yes!
Mega Drive from Sega.
Now, obviously, as stated before, I've also been watching Game of Thrones. Massive Game of Thrones fan. I'm sure I mention it every 5 seconds of the day to everyone that I meet, so you must be aware by now. So we're on season 5 now. Watched episode 1 and 2. Episode 3 airing tomorrow. Episode 1 was good. It's sort of a slow start, but episode 2 just had me there scratching my head. So I've read the books, and that's the first episode I've seen which sort of goes beyond the books and sort of leaves the books behind, because it stops following the story that's in the books. It's really quite hard for me to comprehend what the fuck is going on at the moment. It's really hard to talk about that show without throwing spoilers, but all I'm going to say is Stoneheart, where the fuck is she? Finally, on the TV front, I watched episode 1 of Netflix's original Daredevil. Wow, that took me by surprise actually. Daredevil, Marvel superhero. I'm sure we're all familiar with him to some extent. I'm sure you're all familiar with the TV show. It's like one of the fucking highest grossing TV shows in history. Just underneath fucking Game of Thrones or something, isn't it now? Yeah, but really, that could have been bollocks I just spilled, by the way. I ain't got a clue what I'm talking about. Blame the wine. But yeah, Daredevil. Not seen the film, and I don't know much about the superhero. Only in small appearances he's made in comics that I have read that are relevant to him. I've played as him in certain Marvel games, and I've never really enjoyed his character. This TV series, I'm sort of dubious about, not liking the superhero going into it, but the guy that plays him does it really, really well, and I'm hooked already. One episode in. The only thing I will say is it's a little bit wooden at the moment. Daredevil has a best friend, I think it's called Fuzzy or something. They set up I don't know what to call it, a lawyering place. Like they're setting up an attorney at law business sort of thing, and they're supposed to be like childhood best friends sort of thing. So you'd expect them to bounce off each other really, really well, but they don't. They're sort of, it's my turn to speak now, you can speak. It's really, really wooden. They don't feel like they've got any chemistry going between the two of them at the moment. But like I say, I'm one episode in, so that could change quite quickly. I hope so. High hopes for that. High hopes for that. Right. So films, as I said, Now TV Box, month subscription to Sky Movies, so had a lot to binge on, so there might be a lot to talk about in these next few weeks. Just 4 films over the last few days. First film being A Million Ways to Die in the West, which is a fantastic film title. It's a comedy, so not really a lot to talk about here, and it's not anything spectacular, but it took me by surprise. It's one of those films you just want to put in the background and sort of chill with. It's a western created by the creator of Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane. You must know who he is. It's a typical romance comedy storyline. I don't want to go into it too much. I don't like spoiling things. Talking about films really isn't my forte, to be honest. It's what I've been doing, so I'm going to fucking talk about it. So yeah, it's a really, really easy-going western romance comedy, which is sort of based around how shit it is to live in Wild West times. It really took me by surprise. Wasn't expecting a lot from it. Quite a lot of laughs in it, and it has one of the best cameo appearances in the world. And I don't want to say what it is, but if you don't know what it is from this sound clip, you've not lived. Worth watching for that alone. Second film I watched this last couple of weeks was Maleficent, obviously starring Angelina Jolie, which is a sort of twisted Tim Burton style. I don't know if it is Tim Burton actually. I'm not sure. It's Disney anyway. Take on the Sleeping Beauty from the witches or evil fairies perspective. Again, this really took me by surprise. I was not expecting anything from it. I don't usually expect much when it comes to Disney films, but they don't really do much wrong at the same time. Really good. The visuals in that are nothing less than spectacular as well. The way that they've done her wings and the ridges on Angelina Jolie's face, really, I'm just going to keep saying really this video. Fuck it. Yeah, they're done really well. Really good visually. That's all I'm going to say. The story cracks me up just because it's so flawed. Again, I don't want to go in it too much, but the idea is that the evil fairy falls in love with a boy who essentially betrays her as a child with another woman. This child being Sleeping Beauty. This evil fairy, Maleficent, sets a curse on this baby saying, this is the most ridiculous curse ever. On the dawn of your 16th birthday, you will suffer a pinprick from a sewing wheel and will fall into an eternal sleep. Yeah, a pinprick from a sewing wheel. How specific do you want to get? So the king burns every sewing wheel and keeps them in a dungeon. So you can guess what's going to happen from there. Why he wouldn't fucking destroy these things, I don't know. Ridiculous. What he also does is he sends his daughter, Sleeping Beauty, away with 3 other fairies to look after her. Even though this curse isn't due to set place until her 16th birthday. So she could have lived happily with them for 16 years and then got sent off. Been really well prepared for this situation. and just it could have been avoided. It really could have been avoided, but it's stupid. Why the king thought, the curse has been set, this is going to happen in 16 years, got to be really careful here. Those three fairies, you know, the very same sort of mythical creature that's just set a curse on my child. They will look after her. They are the perfect people for this job. Stupid. Good film though. Actually, the third film I've watched over the last couple of weeks would be the 2013 remake of The Lone Ranger. Fucking hell, this is going to my head. Like slur and everything. I'm usually pretty bad, but not this bad. So yeah, it stars Johnny Depp as Tonto and some other fuckwit as the Lone Ranger. I ain't got a clue who he is. Does a bloody mighty fine job though. A pretty long-winded film. Comes in at just 2.5 hours, which really took me by surprise. Again, something that we watched as we were eating dinner, expecting it to be really short and easy going, but it was completely the opposite. 2.5 hours really surprised me for a Disney film. Long-winded and pretty tedious in places, but all around a really good film. It got slated on release actually. I've not heard anyone say a good word about it really, but anyone say a good word about it really. But I really enjoyed it. I fucking hate the word really. Let's boycott it. I think there was a lot of controversy involved with Johnny Depp playing Tonto, what with him having absolutely zero Native American heritage whatsoever. But for comedy purposes I think he does a good job. Not his usual Johnny Depp character as well. Well, usually Johnny Depp's got two characters, hasn't he? He's got the Tim Burton crap and his normal crap. This is very much the Tim Burton crap, but he does a good spin on it, I think. I'm not a Johnny Depp lover by any means, but I think he did a good job in this film. Well worth a watch, I think, anyway. And that's all that counts. And lastly, for films I've been watching these last couple of weeks is a film called Edge of Tomorrow. I think its tagline is Live, Die, Repeat, which is very appropriate. It stars the jumped up little twat midget that is Tom Cruise. Don't like him at all, but he did a really good job in this film. Man, this film blew me away. I watched it about 6 hours ago now, so still pretty fresh in my memory. The idea of it is that it's in a futuristic war. A meteorite hit the Earth around about this time that we are currently living in. The present. That's the time period I'm looking for. The fucking present. Yeah. So a meteorite hits Earth, and it's carrying an alien virus which wants to wipe out the planet. It's all futuristic. They've got like biosuits and whatnot. So the main premise is that the jumped up little midget twat gets sent into war, not his own doing, and he gets killed by a creature called a mimic. When he gets killed by this creature, he gets splattered with the mimic's blood, and this infects his bloodstream, which causes him to relive that same day over and over again until he can go back and kill the thing which is sort of caused this in the first place. Don't want to go too much into it after that, as it really will ruin the plot, but really nice premise. I believe it was originally an anime or a manga or something. All You Need Is Kill, I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong, something I heard a while back. Yeah, really good. I don't like Tom Cruise. I think I might have called him Tom Hanks a minute ago. I hate Tom Hanks. Don't like Tom Cruise, but he did a really good job in this. A lot of Gears of War influence going on here as well. Visually, it's stunning. The storyline actually really blew me away. Highly recommended that one. Although I imagine any science fiction fan out there has already seen it. It's a mainstream blockbuster movie, isn't it? So I lied actually. That wasn't the last film I've watched the last couple of weeks. I literally got done watching another one about half an hour ago before filming this video. That was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. It's an animation by Sony. I'm sure it is. It's not Pixar and it's not DreamWorks. It's probably Sony. And in my eyes, it's the only animated movie that Sony have ever done right. They pile out a lot of tripe, but Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was great, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 was was no worse. Really, really enjoyable, really, really easy to watch. First film, Flint Hunt Bucket, I can't remember what the fuck his name is. Some animated, big-nosed scientist twat creates a machine that can make food fall from the sky. That's the main plot of that. The plot of the second one is that these food things come to life and some stuff happens, and it's all very adorable and fluffy and cute, and I've lost track of what the fuck I was saying. Yeah, good film. Go watch it. On to the question section of the video. Every week I invite you to ask me some questions. It doesn't have to be gaming related, it can be related to anything. You can leave your comments in the description. There's been quite a few questions this time, and let's hope I can get through them, because this head read gone to sentence. So, first question comes from a YouTuber called The Gaming Lion, and he asks, how ugly can you get? This ugly. Cheers for your question. Second question comes from a YouTuber called Killage, who just so happens to be my cousin actually. Yeah. Embarrassing every time that someone you know in life finds your YouTube channel. So yeah, well, welcome to the channel, mate. So yeah, Killage, I think that's how it's pronounced. K-I-L-I-J. He hasn't done many videos himself, but I'm sure he's going to keep them up. He asks something ridiculously hard for me to pronounce, so I'm not going to look at the camera for this. He asks, as you may or may not know, I'm a massive fan of Hidetaka Miyazaki. Hidetaka Miyazaki? Not a fucking clue. I recognise the name though. And in particular his Soul series. Would hate to count the hours that I've put into the 4 games combined, and I was wondering what you think about the games. I'm sure he's actually the developer of the Armored Core games as well, if I remember rightly anyway. I've read up on it once. Armored Core, great, not so much 4, but the original Armored Core, brilliant game. But that's not what you asked. You're asking my opinion on the Dark series, or the Soul series rather. And I don't really have a massive opinion on them. I want to like them, I really do want to enjoy these games, but they're just too fucking hard for me. I'm not willing to put the amount of hours and dedication into those games, and they really do need a lot of time and patience. Demon Souls I really did quite enjoy, but I couldn't get far into it. I'd probably given it about 2 hours of my time though. I need to purchase the game and give it a proper bash. Dark Souls, yeah, I've given that about 10 hours across Steam and Xbox 360, and I've got myself stuck very early on in the game, and I have not got the patience for it. I really do love the way that it plays, and the art style, the story style. It's a really, really, really lovely piece of work, but I can't play it, and fuck me, it infuriates me to shit. I know that's the desired effect, but I haven't got the patience for it. I work too much and have too much stress at work to worry about that game. Such a shame. I'm sure one day I'll give it the time it deserves. But yeah, thanks for your question, mate. This next set of questions comes from Guybrush Threepwood himself. You have no idea how many times it's taken me to pronounce that name properly with this in my system. Really difficult to say at the best of times. Again, I'm looking away from the camera because I need to read these questions. I don't have the best memory in the world right now. These 2 questions are, what do I think of the Monkey Island series, and if you have played them, which is your favourite? I love them. I've played 1 and 2. 3 I do have on PS2 somewhere, I'm fucking sure of it. It's down there somewhere, I remember picking it up. Not played in it yet. The second one I've only ever played through once, and the first one I've played through numerous times, all the endings on that one. Really, really enjoy it, and I think that answers both of that, doesn't it? But yeah, love them, and 1 is the best one, by far. And the second is, are there any other LucasArts games that you are a fan of? When it comes to LucasArts, where do you start, man? Obviously, Monkey Island, brilliant. All of the Star Wars games are pretty good. It's hard to do a bad Star Wars game in my eyes personally. They're all just really easygoing games. I think another game that's really good that they do is Zombies Ate My Neighbours. Cracking title. But yeah, thanks for your questions, mate. So bye again. Next set of questions comes from a YouTuber called Dan Vantageous, used to go under the name of the Order of Gaming Knights. Great YouTuber, personal friend of mine in life. He hasn't got a lot of content up yet, and he hasn't got as many subscribers as he deserves. He only does gameplay videos at this moment in time, but I do believe he's going to start doing very much what we all do here very shortly. Great personality. I think you guys would like him a lot actually. He's one of those guys that has a lot to say, and he manages to say it really well. So yeah, go check out his channel. So his two questions are, well, the first out of his two questions are, oh man, I've gone off on one. He says, out of curiosity, what is your setup for capturing game footage? I don't know. Right now at this moment in time, I do not know. For capturing Steam games, PC games, I use Nvidia's Shadow Play, which is inbuilt software into Nvidia graphics cards on any model above the GTX 550, I believe. Could be wrong. I think it's that. I'll use a GTX 960. I've forgotten already. Cracking bit of software. Never had a problem with it. Works really well. Captures what you hear as such. So if you wanted to do multiplayer videos and you were having a Skype conversation, you would capture both ends of the conversation as well. Works really well. Fantastic bit of software. As for consoles, I've actually dabbled in this for a long time now. If you go back through my channel, I've been trying to do gameplay footage for years. Go back to like 2012 I think, and you'll notice some really bad test footage videos. I started out with the Roxio VHS to DVD capture card. Cost 50 quid or something back then, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe 30 to 50 quid I'd say. And it just doesn't work right. It's supposed to be really good for capturing retro game footage, but the software they give you with it, it's shit. It's just really fucking pants. Not easy to use. From there I got a easy cap, and I got the model that could do 60 frames per second. I'm probably going way over some people's heads now. But yeah, that was just as bad as the Roxio product. Basically the same thing, and couldn't get on with it. From there I got Roxio Game Capture, which is this card here, which is supposed to be a HD gaming card. Uses the, I always get confused, is that composite or component? I always get those confused. It uses a cable method, no HDMI ports on this, and it's also a part of shit. The software they give you with it is really pants. And the issue I had with it mainly is that you can't do retro games on it at all. I think I successfully did one video with it and thought, yeah, fuck that. And that cost me about £70 when I bought it, and it's just sat on the side since. Since then I was really put off doing game capture videos, and sort of got really put off buying anything. Until recently, where I finally, as you may have noticed already, purchased an Elgato Game Capture HD card, which is working really well for the most part so far. I've not played with it as much as I would have hoped, but I'll talk more about that in my pickups video. So yeah, I don't know what my setup is at the moment. When it's comfortable, I'll talk about it more. His second question is, how do I feel when a game gets delayed? I personally do not mind it. In fact, in some cases, it gives me more time to be able to afford the said game. Yeah, I got no problem with it at all, really. Money is obviously an aspect to it. If it gets delayed, it means you can gather the money and just sort of keep it to the side, ready for that game, without having to worry about it at the time. That's a good point, but if a game's delayed, you know it's delayed for good reason most of the time. It's obviously buggy, and you don't want your hands on a buggy product. I would definitely rather get my hands on a finished product than one that you're going to get on day one and it's just going to be riddled with shit. So yeah, delays unfortunately are a good thing. Anyway, thanks for your questions, mate. Everybody else, go check out his channel. Next we have a set of 4 questions from a YouTuber called Sniper. Again, I believe he asked some questions in the first or second video I did of this. Well, it would have been the second, isn't it? No one asked questions in the first one. But yeah, really good questions last time, and he's come with a couple of good questions again this time. First question being, what is the most disgusting food you've ever eaten? Well, that cake I told you about earlier comes pretty fucking close, I have to say. Other than that, I'm going to get slated for saying this, but olives. Olives are the only food in the entire world that I've tried that physically make me gag. I do not know what the fuck it is about them, but I can't eat them. I love food, and I'm a really, really foodie person. I will eat anything. I'm really big on my herbs and spices. For instance, I do all my herb and spice shopping online. I'm that much of a snob when it comes to food, but olives, I just cannot get on with them. Second question is, has the introduction of achievements/trophies last gen influenced the way you play games? Sadly, yes. Heavily. I don't like it, but it has made a huge impact on the way I play games. I wish I could turn back time and forget that they ever existed, because times were easier back then. I know this isn't a problem for some. I think it's affected most people of how they play games. I struggle to play my favourite generation of games, which is 16-bit and the GameCube. I struggle to play those games because I'm not getting achievements and trophies pop up. I don't feel like I'm being rewarded for play, which is completely wrong. You should be feeling rewarded from the progress and the story that you're making and just enjoying the experience of what it is. But because I'm so used to acquiring achievements and trophies now, I'm constantly sat there going, should I be getting something for doing this? And the thing with achievements and trophies as well is that they're always a sort of, if they're done well, they're sort of a marking pole position to how far you're getting through the game. Now if I play an older game, I get frustrated that I don't know how far I am into said title. It's really, really bad, and I wish I could change it or train myself out with it, but yeah, take me back to simpler times, please. Third question is, did you ever own the original Game Boy when you was young? If so, what games do you remember playing on the system? If not, what was your first handheld? Well, the original Game Boy was my first handheld, so that answers that segment of the question. I got the Mario Land pack original Game Boy, so the Game Boy was bright yellow. I think I've still got it somewhere. It's absolutely fucked because I really did look after it. But you live, you learn. Hindsight's a bitch. So yeah, I obviously remember playing Super Mario Land and Super Mario Land 2, what's it called, 6 golden coins or something. Really fond memories of that. Tetris I got at the same time, so those 3 games are the games I got with the system. But I adored that handheld, man. So many hours spent on it. A lot of games I remember playing. One of the more obscure titles that I remember owning and spending a lot of time on, which probably influenced me a lot as a person, is Beavis and Butthead. I remember taking that into primary school and playing that a lot on the playing ground. Really, really, really good game. I'd like to have that back at some point. I'll probably play it now and be like, what is this shit? But yeah, I really like that. A lot of original Game Boy games are really badly made, actually, I have to say. It's a shame. But back then, loved it. So yeah, Beavis and Butthead, really load of fond memories of. I think obviously the major handheld original Game Boy game that everyone from my age group remembers fondly is Pokemon Red and Blue. I got Pokemon Red for Christmas. Well, my mum let me open it. I think I was 7 at the time. The night before Christmas, and I literally stayed it for 12 hours straight, playing it under my covers with my lamp on, trying to avoid my shadow on the screen. Great game. I have so many fond memories of Pokemon Red. Fantastic system. That was a trip down memory lane. And his fourth question is, off the top of your head, What was your favourite PS1 game? For me, Abe's Odyssey, Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Oh, and Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. That is a fantastic game there in itself. Bugs Bunny Lost in Time is one of the very best Looney Tunes games. I can play that all day long. I really did enjoy that. They should make a remake of that, in fact. Really good game. Heavily looked over as well. I like the way you phrase that, what was your favourite PS1 game? I still have a favourite PS1 game, and sadly it's probably the same as it is for most, especially my age group as well, and anybody into RPGs. It's Final Fantasy VII. At the time of playing that, again, about 7, 8, 9 years old, it was mind-blowing. I'd never played a game of that scale with a story that in depth, characters you could get attached to. It was just out of this world for me. It was my first experience with a Final Fantasy game, and I love it. I don't think it's the best Final Fantasy game. I think that title goes to Final Fantasy IX, but Final Fantasy VII is probably my favourite PS1 game. Right next to Tekken 3, because I spent so many hours on that. Tekken 3 is just phenomenal. No doubt I'm missing something really glaringly obvious. Dragon Ball Z Legend comes quite close to the top as well, just because the amount of hours I spent there. But that system, I spent so much time on so many games. I need to go back and revisit them all, but at the moment that title would go to Final Fantasy VII, I have to say. Anyway, thanks for your questions, mate. Keep them coming. Next question comes from a YouTuber called iHazard. Kind of like that YouTube name, actually. Pretty cool name. And he has a question for me, and he apologises if it's been asked before. It hasn't, so you're safe here, mate. He says, what controller is your favourite from all your systems? GameCube, hands down, best control pad ever made. Closely followed by the Xbox 360 pad, but it is the GameCube pad. After playing Wario World this week, actually, I sort of wish the GameCube controller was a little bit heavier, so I may open up one of my pads and try and weight it down a bit. I think it's because I'm used to holding the 360 controller now, where it has a battery pack, so it is a little bit heavier, but the GameCube controller is just so perfectly designed, and they should stick with it. And I think it's proof that it's one of the best controllers ever made, that the Wii U is still using them for like Smash Brothers. It's just such a fantastic controller, beautiful design. The triggers on that system just flow so smoothly. I love the C stick. You get a good sense of direction from where you're shifting your thumb due to the jagged edges on the control pad. The way that the B button is really obvious because it's so small. The way that the buttons are just individually designed. Not overly complicated because it doesn't have 4 shoulder buttons. Really nice controller. GameCube, hands down. Thanks for the question, mate. Next question comes from Mr. Sprites and Bites himself. Well, 2 questions actually, I think. I get a blurry vision here. He asks, if you don't already own a Vita, what are the games that would make you buy one? And if you do own one, what games have you enjoyed thus far? I don't own a Vita yet. It's one of those consoles I've wanted for a while, but they just sort of they're still a little bit pricey for me. I can't see myself spending more than £30 on a handheld because I don't play them too often. Well, surprisingly, the 3DS does get more of a look in than I thought I ever would give it. So yeah, I'd love a Vita. There is already a game out that would make me buy the Vita, and that's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Oh man, I can only imagine what that's like to play on a handheld. Marvel vs. Capcom on the go, that's got to be incredible. But that's a rarity now, isn't it? I think that game holds its value quite well, and the system's just too pricey for me. It does look like a great system, and I'd just love to get my hands on it. Next question is, if you had to get rid of your collection, don't do this to me, but keep 3 systems with only 1 game each, fucking hell, what would they be and why? Why are you doing this to me? I wish I'd pre-prepared for this question. Fucking hell, that's not cool. Right, so 3 systems, to be logical here, it would have to be, I'd have to keep PS3, because it can play PS1, PS2 and PS3 games, so that's sort of cheating, I know, but we're going to go for PS3. We're going to go for Wii, because it can play GameCube games and Wii. Oh man. Oh, this is too hard. I might take that back. Oh, I'd miss having a GameCube if I didn't have one, if I didn't have some form of playing GameCube games. Toughy. Let's take it down to games. I'd need a fighter. And the fighter would either be Marvel vs. Capcom or Street Fighter 2. It'd probably be Street Fighter 2 because there's another game I'd want on the 364, so it'd be a Mega Drive Street Fighter 2. One system, one game. Oh, I think I'm changing my mind already, again, so soon into it, fucking hell. The issue I've got is I would want to keep either Nier or Lost Odyssey on the 360. It wouldn't make sense, would it? If I had to stick to one game and one console, an RPG wouldn't be the way to go. I'm not sure how many times you could play that through and get on with it. So I think I'd want to own Marvel vs. Capcom on that as well. That's 2 fighters across 2 systems. Ooh, dangerous territory. That leaves me in tough ground for my third choice. Yeah, it'd be Wii. So if I ever did want to get more games at any point, I'd have a wider variety of choice, and I'd keep Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 on the Nintendo GameCube, just because it's one of the best games ever made, fucking hands down. Sprites and Bytes is the master of the hard question. Thanks very much, mate. Lastly, we have 4 questions from SNEStastic himself. Not enough nice things to say about NEStastic, fucking hell, it's a spin-off channel of his. Will be one day. About SNEStastic, brilliant chap. 4 questions. The first question being, which European band is your favourite? Mine is Lacuna Coil, followed by Nightwish. Only when Tarja Turunen was the singer though. I do like both those bands, however I ain't got a fucking clue how to pronounce her name. Yeah, they're not favourites of mine, I've got to say. I do like the odd song by both of those. My problem here is that most music I like is actually European, and a favourite European band would be Arian. I've spoken about them enough on this channel. Brilliant prog supergroup. It's just one guy really, Arjen Lucassen, but he forms a brilliant story and a brilliant concept album every time. They all sound different. The stories he writes are really good, and he gets a super group of musicians to perform this music, and it's just out of this world, incredible. If you've not heard Arian before, go and do it. I recommend you start off with Electric Castle, fantastic album, one of my favourite albums of all time actually. Question 2 is, will I be voting on May 7th? If so, have you decided who to vote for? Yeah, I did mine today actually. A little bit of an iffy one to talk about, to be honest. I don't really want to piss anyone off, so talking politics is a really hard subject to avoid pissing anyone off. But yeah, I have voted, and there's nothing personal. I'm a Green man, and I voted Labour this time. I'd love Greens to get in power, but I don't believe they're in a position where they could actually look after the country right now. Give it 4 years to see where they are. Maybe 8, I don't know. I'm definitely Green, but I think Labour are the right people to be in power right now. I almost think, actually, saying that, the Conservatives need another term. I know I've already voted Red, but I think that Conservatives have really fucked up, and they also almost need another 4 years to sort of clean up their mess before Labour comes in and takes charge again. I know a lot of people think that Labour are the ones that fucked up, but yeah, I strongly believe that Conservatives just made the situation 10 times worse. Yeah, we won't even mention UKIP. Enough of politics. I'm green, mainly. Green guy. The third question he asks is the world doomed? Yeah, but simply, we're fucked. We've fucked ourselves over from every angle. We can't play nice with each other, and quite frankly, I don't think we deserve to be on this beautiful planet. Fucking, that's some serious hippie shit there, but we've made a right mess of this place, and I can't see it changing anytime soon. We done fucked up, and it ain't gonna fucking get better. And his fourth question is, what one lesson have humans learnt since our inception? You're full of this tonight, Pete. These are seriously in-depth questions here. I think you just want to get me in trouble, really, don't you? I know your game. Sadly, I don't think we've learnt anything at all. We're vile creatures. We're absolutely fucking despicable to one another. We've fucked this planet. We've fucked each other, much like the last question. We're nasty pieces of work. I don't think we've learnt anything until we stop being greedy bastards and stop fucking inflicting pain on others. I can't say we've learnt anything. We're no better than a beast. We're awful people. We're just not good at all. You've managed to depress me. Thanks very much, Pete. Just the questions, keep them coming. Anyway, guys, I dread to think how long this video is gone on for. Camera's nearly out of battery, and it's started at full battery as well. So yeah, could be in for a long ride here. I'm not sure though, as I don't get a sort of time scale on my camera. Bloody thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I don't know if I have or not. I'm barely even here. Fucking red as anything. Look at that face. Fucking awful. I will be back next Sunday. I fucking promise you that. And there should be 2 or 3 videos uploaded this week. Because I've got a 200 video special coming up, and I promise you it will be 100% better than the 100 video special. Guarantee that. Pickups video coming shortly, and numerous gameplays, and like I said at the beginning of the video, if you remember rightly, there will be more guitar videos coming soon. So yeah, lots happening here. Promise I'll be back soon. If you want to leave me a question, again, leave it in the comments box or contact me on Twitter. All questions are appreciated. Talk about whatever you want, really. I'm happy to sit here drinking myself into oblivion talking about bollocks. I don't mind. Thanks for everyone who has left me a question. Cheers, guys. See you next time. Enjoy. Yeah, that bit as well. Cheers and joy. That's the badger.